Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome, 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 welcome. I have JC with me today. And if you don't know us yet, let's take a few moments to introduce ourselves. My name is Konstantin Bomorun, and I'm a performance coach for thought leaders. Now, the reason you're listening to this today, right now, is because we are creating something magical together, and you should know about this. Now, with me here right now, you have JC Target, a dear friend of mine, and I'll let her introduce herself, but know that she's one of the most amazing humans you'll ever get to meet. JC.
Thank you so much. My name is JC Target. For those of you who don't know me, I am a peak performance coach for millionaire entrepreneurs. And I also have a background in neuroscience and counseling therapy. So, Constantine and I have been able to come together in this absolutely amazing synergy to bring both of our specialties and really an amazing marriage of the masculine and feminine energy that we both have in our practices to just develop something beautiful. And if you don't know Constantine, he is such a heartfelt, soulful leader. And yeah, you're in for a treat.
That's awesome, JC. Thank you for the kind words. Now, for those of you that want to know more about us, you'll see plenty of information below, including testimonials. This masterclass that we are inviting you to right now, it's not the first time we're doing this. Last time we did this, oh my God, it was transformational. JC, I will actually ask you to share some of the feedback you received and some of the testimonials that people can find below as well.
Mm. So the feedback that I got last time, it blew my mind. The experience blew my mind. And that was something that I said even in the class the first time that we ran it. One of the really nice pieces of feedback we got was, what do you mean that was your first time doing that together? The synergy was amazing. The feedback, like everything about it was really good. It looked apparently it looked like we had been doing this for years together. And what I loved so much about the masterclass that we held last time is, for those of you who have been in these extended masterclasses, 3 hours long on a Saturday. That's what it was on Zoom. And typically, people join in, they're excited, they're kind of hyped up. And by the halfway through points, people start to drop off. By the end of it, people are dropping like flies. And the exact opposite happened. We got more engagement with every hour that went by. And at the end of it, I think we had 7 or 8 people stay on for 15 or 20 extra minutes just to
Oh,
keep
yeah,
talking and to stay in the energy. So it built into something just incredible.
it did. Yeah. Thank you, JC. And yes, if you want to know more, you can look below as well. We're inviting you to this now. What's the name of this? Why do we name it like that? This, what you're coming to, is called Realign Live Leadership Redefined. You see, every time you step into the world outside of your safety zone, you can step into your leadership. Now, how you show up in that leadership can look in many different ways. There's a famous saying out there, or let's call it a piece of advice that people give you, is like lead by example, right? And when I was thinking about that in my career, I thought, oh, okay, that means that I'm going to show up as the leader that I would like to have myself. But what I didn't realize initially, and I wonder how many people don't realize it either, is this idea that leading by example doesn't just mean positive things. You running your life the way you are right now, you are leading by example one way or another, consciously or unconsciously. So that what we're talking about here and what we are going to empower you through this workshop, through this masterclass, is to redefine the leader that you are within, to find out more about who you truly are and how you can bring that light to the world, because the world needs what you have to offer, and more importantly, what you can only offer. And we are here to just guide you on that process, to maybe awaken some parts of you that you haven't seen just yet, and unleash that beautiful leader that's just below the surface. Now, JC, talk to me a bit about redefining leadership from your perspective.
Mm. Oh, there's so much to it. And one of the reasons I love that we are using the word reimagine in the title is because redefine can feel it can feel really exciting and powerful. But reimagine, that means you get to literally create exactly what you want, even if it feels impossible at this point. To reimagine something goes from your 9 to 5, exhausted at the end of the day, dragging yourself through your mornings, to if I could picture the perfect way of living. And I don't mean the perfect life, the perfect way of living from within. What would that be? It would be joyful and energetic and exciting. And this is for me. Everyone's different. I think most people would probably choose those things. And from reimagining in this place of if anything was possible, then you get to redefine from a place of
Yes.
infinite options, infinite possibilities, and limitlessness.
Yes. 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 Thank you, JC. I was getting ahead of myself and I jumped to the redefine portion of it, but thank you for bringing us back to reimagining because really it does start with a vision and knowing that anything is possible. Now, knowing it and feeling it are two different things, right? I can
Mm.
know that the grass is green and it might be cold to my feet, but until I put my feet on that grass, I won't really know how it feels. And this is what we're talking about here as well, is how can we realign our mind through neuroscience, through different practices, through different ways of being, so then we can actually reimagine our life in a way that's empowering us, in a way that's going to move the needle to the next level. Now, what I love about what we did last time and what we're going to do this time as well is that last time JC and I shared so many beautiful practices. People absolutely love them and they're still talking about it to this day. Not only are we going to repeat that, we're going to bring in some of the most powerful practices you've ever seen and ever had a chance to play with. And same for us, by the way, because we do them with you. So, we take our own medicine, so to speak. But we're going to have with us two more amazing people. We're going to have Jessica Brace and Kerry Marraffino. You'll see their information below. And again, if you haven't met them, also amazing human beings. And we're going to add in the power of breathwork. We're going to look at the neuroscience and the science behind breathwork and why that's important. And we'll do even a practice on breathwork. And for those of you that have been at the previous masterclass, you're going to be in for an additional treat with this one. And we can't wait to share that with you. Now, if we were to look at the quick agenda here and what we have planned for you, right? Of course, it's a 3-hour masterclass, which means that we want you to come prepared with a pen and paper, taking notes, but also leaving behind as many distractions as you can. Your phone, anyone in the home that might be distracting you. Give this time to yourself because, again, it's about you stepping into your leadership and no one else can do that for you. So when we look at the agenda is we're going to, of course, dive into the leadership aspect of it, how you get to master how you show up. And then to be able to master how you show up, you also need to master your time. We'll talk about how time, one of your most precious resources, some people argue it's most important resource, is running away from you, and how you can put a stop to that and bring it back into your life. We're then going to do something called, JC, that I love talking about a lot, which is this idea of looking at ourselves through the lens of 3 parts: the mind, which is what we've been talking about right now, but then there's the body aspect of you, and there's the spirit or soul aspect of you, regardless of what religious affiliation you may have or your religious beliefs, right? We don't touch that. We're more thinking about how you, as a human being right now, have all these gifts that are sitting in the back corner under the Christmas tree, perhaps unopened. And we want to guide you to a place where you can open them up and embrace the gifts within. Now, before I continue with the agenda here, JC, I know that you and I have talked at length about this and have done so many practices about how we can get people from the mind into the body and then realizing the power they hold within their essence, their soul. What are your thoughts on perhaps why we're in a society where we're so stuck in our mind and everything else seems to be secondary?
Mm. The productivity obsession of North American culture and many other cultures in the world, but I'll speak to where I live, really brings us up into the head.
Yeah.
The grasping nature of like materialistic. Now, I'm not saying materialism isn't fun sometimes. Like that's I'm not going to go that intense in one direction or another, but it creates this constant grasping, and grasping comes from the mind. Productivity comes from the mind. The mind is an amazing tool when you can use it. The problem with our society is that the mind has taken over and now it uses us.
Yeah.
And to start to unravel that, we need to get back into our bodies. Our
Mm.
bodies are our closest connection to source, God, your own spirit, divinity, because that's where all of our intrinsic experiences exist. That's where we physically feel the messages of our emotions, the messages of spirit. And to be in that, we can hear the messages clearly so that we can move forward from a space of confidence, ease, joy. And that truly is when we are leading by example in the way that we want to be.
Oh, so beautiful. JC, here's a word that came up for me, right? That's big in today's world. And for me, it's been big for the last, I don't know how many years now. The word trust.
Mm.
Because you're going to get to hear more of your truth. But can you trust it? I remember when I embarked on this journey a while back now, my intuition was there, looking to help me, looking to guide me. Do you think I listened? No, because I didn't trust it. I'm like, man, that's crazy. How would I look like if I did that? No, that's not me. And that's why it's so important when we go on a journey like this to not just say it's one or the other. Oh, okay, now I'm going to tap into my intuition. That's it. I mean, your mind still has a part to play, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
human after all, which means that let's make the most of what we were gifted with. And you touched on something beautiful there. The body, if I were to use my own words, becomes then the bridge between your mind and your soul, and that essence that we're talking about. Well, now imagine this scenario, and this is what I love to look at it this way. You're yourself, you're a beautiful race car, right? And you have two engines that can power this beautiful race car, one in the front of the car, one in the back of the car. But most of our life, you only use one of those engines. That was me. I only used the front engine maybe for 50% of its capacity. That was my mind. Not much of anything else. Ask yourself the question, and that's the question I ask myself. I've had a successful career, a successful life so far, yet I've only used a tiny portion of my gifts and powers. Where could you be? Where could you go? Who could you be if you were to not only turn on the second engine, connect them between themselves, so through the body, have the bridge, and start to increase the amount of power you tap into? The sky is the limit, literally. Like, there is no limit at that point. And that's what we will help you see through this masterclass and all the other events and programs that we put together. So really, what this is, JC, it's an adventure in trust.
Yes.
You're embarking on an adventure with us, but more importantly, with yourself, to discover this trust that you are enough, you have enough, you can do it all. And we're going to
You
be here
have
alongside you.
everything you need right now, as you are, with who you are, with what you have around you. And if you hear that and you believe it, this is an amazing place to come to continue leaning into it. If you hear that and you don't quite believe it, it's the perfect place to be to start to feel that.
Exactly. So beautifully said, JC. And of course, you'll find all the details below. This masterclass will be on October 3rd, which is a Thursday this time around. And it's going to be from, I believe it's 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then you do the conversions. You'll see some time zones below as well. We hope to see you all there. And I know it's going to be magical. Now, of course, in a minute here, you'll get to hear from Kerry and Jessica, who I had a beautiful conversation with. So you get to see what their part is. But before I let you explore all of that, finishing up on the agenda, we just touched on the mind, body, soul. As we set our intentions, we hit the ground running with the leadership aspect, the creation of time, which are very, very important for all of us. We go into the mind, body, soul connection. We'll do practices around the mind, practices of mind around getting into our bodies, and then integrating all three pieces. And towards the end of our time together, there'll be the breathwork experience from Jessica and Kerry. We'll have plenty of time for engagement, like JC mentioned. We had so much beautiful engagement last time. We'll have time for plenty of Q&A. We'll have time for plenty of just beautiful conversation. That's it. This is going to be not something that we talk at you, but with you. Now, JC, before we let the people enjoy the conversation with Jessica and Kerry, any other thoughts to add?
Every time we talk about this and we get a new one of these classes going, I can just feel the depth of it in my body. And I'm going to encourage anyone who's listening to this that feels drawn to take a moment and take a deep breath and feel in your body what is happening. If you notice this excitement or even a sense of trepidation, be with it, feel it, and let that emotion guide you into your next steps. And hopefully those next steps include joining us for this adventure in trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Okay, now check out this short recording here with Jessica and Kerry. You'll be blown away. So beautiful soul, as I promised you, I have Kerry and Jessica with me. Two of the most amazing people you'll ever meet. I had a chance to spend so much time with them back in January now of this year. Wow, it feels like a lifetime ago, ladies. And I don't know, the work and the magic you performed transformed my life. And I know that having the two of you here for this masterclass is going to be the same for many people in the audience. And then for some of you, if you're going to join us in Costa Rica or in other parts where we're going to bring all these amazing people together, you will see firsthand the magic that can happen once you drop into your trust and go from there. Now, Jessica and Kerry, welcome.
Thank you.
What are your first words for people listening right now? Why should they come to this masterclass and watch us perform our magic and shine our light?
I think you just said it. Drop into your trust. Like everything, whether an entrepreneur or life or whatever, like my life experiences really taught me that I need to trust what's here and not so much here. So, whether you're called to the masterclass or you're called to Costa Rica or one of the other events, it's really about if you have a nudge, like, ooh, that sounds interesting. Like follow that through, follow that trust. So when you said that, drop into your trust, that was great analogy.
Yeah, and I was just going to say I like the word nudge because sometimes you don't even know why you show up at a certain place and time. You just know that it's right. And when that happens to me, I always listen to it. Whether it's a friend saying, oh, this would be really beneficial for you. I don't even ask questions. I just say, okay, I'm just going to trust and I'm going to go and experience. And I think that's what we all are really good at, is creating an experience and a trusting environment.
Oh, I love that, both of you. And you know what? Trust is the word of the last 2 years for me. And I've been someone that went from trusting very little to now leaning into the trust so much that I see miracles and magic happening every day in my life. And I'm like, how does that work? I mean, I have a math degree, computer science. I'm like, that doesn't make sense yet. Here it happens time and time again, right? Because if it happens once, sure, it's a coincidence. But beyond that, and the two of you have allowed me to see that more clearly. Like back in January when I was in Orlando, when we did that magical group breathwork session, I didn't know what to expect. I just trusted. Jessica was like, hey, do you want to come over? Sure, let's do it. And it was one of the most magical experiences of my life. And then a few days later, the two of you doing the private session with me, again, I don't know what was going to happen. I trusted and magic happened. Now, why am I telling you that right now, beautiful people in the audience? Because at this masterclass, we'll have Jessica and Kerry performing one of these breathwork. Do we call it a ceremony, a ritual? What do we call it, Jessica, or just an experience?
I just call it an experience because it really is. It's different for every person. That's the magic of breath work, is that when you trust in yourself enough to bring in the oxygen and allow your body to kind of reset and reboot, it's really trusting in the unknown. Even for me, like with hundreds of breathwork sessions that I've done on myself at this point, every single time, it's trust for me still, because you don't know what that journey is going to be, because the breath takes you into where you are in that moment and what is ready to come through you in that moment. So I could do the same breathwork journey 10 times, and every single time, it'll be completely different. And that's one of the things that is just so magical about the experience that we're going to bring to you guys.
Yeah, that's exciting. Now, you touched on something so beautiful, right? Because leaning into the unknown, and trust comes again, trusting that whatever needs to show up for you in that moment will show up. And if you've been at our last Realign Live Leadership Reimagined workshop, you know that it's filled with practices and hands-on experiences. And this breathwork that we are bringing in is going to be the same. You're going to learn from Jessica and Kerry about the neuroscience behind the breathwork, why you should pay attention, why you should bring it into your life, and why you should actually trust that it can do something magical for you. And like Jessica said, it's going to be different for everyone, but what you need, what you get in that is going to be specific for you. How magical is that?
It is, and it's not even magical as an outside experience. It's magical as an inside experience because you, during this process, actually are the magic. You are the creator of everything that occurs during the moments that we breathe together. So your perceptions, your feelings, your emotions, your experience in totality is all your own magic that comes from within. And that is what I am so excited to share with you guys. Like, I can't wait.
This is amazing. Yeah, I can't wait either, Jessica. I mean, you and I met not even a year ago, and you blew me away with those first few breathwork sessions. I mean, for those in the audience listening right now, I was someone that did some breathwork, and the most I could do was 5 minutes. And then here's Jessica. We show up in whatever we showed up at that event, and you're like, oh, we're going to breathe for like an hour and a half. And I'm like, what? I can't do that. But then it happened. And I was like, wait, how does this work? Well, you're going to find out how it works, and then you're going to get to experience it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a shorter experience, so you get to get accustomed with it. But then you're going to have opportunities to join us for deeper sessions, both in person and virtual.
Yeah, we're going to give you a short session, which is an intro to what the breathwork is. And when you do experience that, and we receive your feedback and you receive this opportunity, the thing is that that's only a very short session. When we do longer sessions, like you said, it's an hour, hour and a half, and that's when we really dig in deep and we go right to the core.
Yeah, so much healing, so much awareness can be brought up, so much love and joy and light. That's really what comes to mind right now as I think back to all the beautiful breathwork sessions that we did together, and I did on my own as well, following your formulas.
Awesome. Yeah, you know, you brought up a good point, is love and light and peace within. So a lot of people think, oh, if I go in or I relax or I really go into myself deeply, there's scary crap in there because my life has had challenges and different things have come up, and I don't want to go there. I don't want to open. I'll hear a lot of can of worms, Pandora's box, dark closet, you know, that people will describe this space that they don't want to go into. But you really described it well with the breath work. The trusting of that is that your body got you this far, so it knows what to do to keep you alive. But trusting your body to bring it into that innate sense of I'm ready to heal this and let it go is completely different with breath work. So we're not diving in and reliving any experience that you had that may be, you know, a shock, block, trauma, or drama. It's more of just breathing in light and space, and then breathing out what your body no longer needs. And that is what happens during this process. That's, as you say, magical, because it's really allowing your body to just choose what it's ready to let go of without all the drama.
Right. Your body knows what it doesn't want any more of. It knows what to release. So for me, this is about just being open enough to show up with no expectations and to surrender to that, just allowing it to happen.
Yeah.
Surrender is another great word here, right? It goes with trust.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're listening to this, you're likely a leader in your life. You don't have to have a fancy title to be a leader. And you probably have this question if you haven't experienced something as transformational as this. Jessica and Kerry, what does breathwork have to do with leadership?
For me, the breath, when you're connected, so we don't breathe enough and we're shallow. And most of the time, as a leader, you're in a reactive state where you're fight or flight. I need to get this done. This happened. What could happen? What couldn't happen? I need to manage. I need to do. I need to do. The breath work allows you, whether it's 15 minutes or a full session for 90 minutes, it gives your nervous system a pause. So you're actually leaning into your heart and your center and your nervous system and recalibrating your body to be in a calm state. So when you're done with the breath work and you step out, you're filtering all of your experiences and all of your leadership through a state of calm and complete and total presence from the heart. So your decisions will be vastly different from a fight or flight state.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Right. And for leadership, lots of times, like Jessica said, they're geared to action. But I think what really makes a great leader is when they can pause and sit in that and then move forward. But to take that time to just be present with what's going on and use that space to allow them to then move forward in a different way than if they were just reacting.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I couldn't agree more. You as a leader showing up every day in your life, in your work, how could you benefit if you could slow down a bit, allow things to come up as well, connect the mind, body, and soul, and then continue on the path you're on, or perhaps adjusting that path? Like, what will come up? What can benefit in that regard? And that's part of what we're talking about here. It's going back and finding out that you hold all the answers. No one else does. And when we're so busy chasing things externally, like I've been most of my life, we miss out on spending time with that person inside of us that knows what it needs, what it wants, and what it can offer. And a practice like what Jessica and Kerry are talking about will allow you to quiet the mind, get into your body, right? Remember your essence, your soul, and why you're here and what you're here to bring to the world. And the world needs exactly what you have to offer, but sometimes you don't even know what it is that you have to offer. So this will allow you to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how different would your world be if instead of reacting, your initial innate automatic was to respond instead of react? Like, how would that change your world?
Now, that's a powerful question. And Jessica, I'm all about asking better questions of myself, of those around me, more meaningful questions, more questions that allow us to go inwards as opposed to externally. And that's such a powerful question. Ask yourself that. What could change in your life? Or better yet, if you stay the same, what would your life be in 3, 6, 12 months?
Yeah.
So I hope you're as excited as I am to participate. And by the way, I'll jump right in and do the breathwork with you guys as well, because it's going to be magical and powerful.
Absolutely.
And of course, you already heard earlier in this recording the other parts of the schedule. Well, of course, bring in all the elements that made the previous event a huge success. You'll see, of course, testimonials and links to sign up below. But I can't wait to see you there. And I know Jessica and Kerry will love to see you there as well. Now, before I let you go, beautiful ladies, anything else you'd like to add?
I would just say to listen to your body right now. What is it telling you? Just drop in.
Yeah. If any of this resonates with you, maybe feels aligned, even in the smallest way, consider that a nudge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we're here for you. As a team, we're here for you to guide you through.
Yes. Okay. That's amazing. So now you know what I need to do. We'll see you on Thursday, October 3rd, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a 3-hour masterclass, as we mentioned earlier, and we'll go deep. And you will have so many tools and practices to take back with you, and lots of insights coming in from you and no one else. Now, of course, we'll guide you on that process, but this will be for you. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you in a bit.